You, what's good? Let's do a little Appletree board review here. I got this board about a couple weeks ago, and I went on it one time so far. Now, the first issue I came across is I cannot mount the actual foil drive as far forward as my Armstrong board over here. This board is 410. 39 liters. This board is 5 foot, about 38 liters. Now, when you try to mount your foil drive as far forward, it hits the front of this trench, obviously, so you can't mount the foil all the way forward on the tracks. I measured the distance from the front of the mast to the front of the board, and the difference between this Armstrong board and the Zapple board is about 6 inches. So when I'm riding this Appletree board, I got 6 inches more board in front of me when the actual length of the two boards are only 2 inches of a difference. So that's one, I think, kind of downfall, because I like to have the mast mounted as far forward as I can so I don't have as much board in front of me. Now, when it comes to changing out the foil drive, the tracks, this is the biggest disadvantage. It's a pain in the butt. And I have a no limits mast, which I have to make a bracket to mount the mast to the foil drive, which I haven't done yet. And I changed out the battery without that bracket, and it is a pain in the butt. So changing out the batteries with this, yes, it's a hassle. It is kind of annoying. Now, looking at the shape of this board compared to my Armstrong board, it's a lot more narrow. And not really used to narrow boards, but one downfall of a narrow board is, I think, is you have less leverage on the foil. So now I can't put my feet staggered as wide and have as much leverage on the board, on the foil. I'm more of a fan of a little bit of a wider board, so you have more leverage on the foil, which makes you be able to turn harder. But some people say narrow boards are more nimble. I don't believe that. Maybe for touchdowns and hard turns, yeah. But for actually getting your feet in a wider stance, you're limited when you have a really narrow board. Now, for getting up on this board, since there is less drag with the trench, it's kind of weird. This board, I didn't really see any difference. Actually, I think this board was actually harder to get up on than this Armstrong board. Maybe because it's just the shape or whatnot, or how it is. This board, when it touches down and wants a nosedive, I actually had to paddle up with this board, and the foil drive board, the Armstrong board, I was able to get up, not no problem, but seems like it was almost easier to get up on the Armstrong board. The connection, though, really good on this board, way better than the Armstrong board. That's one really good benefit. So I'm kind of a little bit on the fence about this board, if it's really worth it yet. Well, we'll see. I'll try it out a couple more times and see how I feel about it, but it is a little weird with the very narrow, and it feels a lot longer than the Armstrong board because of where the mast mounts and everything. Yeah, we'll see. I'll try to do another interview when I get out on the board again, but so far I'm a little skeptical about it. Yeah, when you touch down on it, it is a whole lot better, actually, though. When you do touch down when you're on an actual wave, yeah, you don't have the braking effect because you have the trench, and it doesn't just stop, which is very good. But I was surprised that I didn't really get up any easier with this board. Actually, kind of worse than this Armstrong board. So we'll see what happens next. Peace.